And we're talking about livability, okay? I don't know why it's so difficult to do certain basic things. Like we are doing the road from Tema to Mpakadan.
Yeah.
We have not finished. The Tema to Accra rail line, I don't know how many trains are on it. The Takrady rail line, the Accra and Sawan rail line. You know, livability is when you have options.
It's navigate between.
You know, like you want to go to Winneba for the weekend.
You have to go through massive traffic.
You know, and if you had a rail line from Accra to Winneba, it will be so good because like Kaswa is a dormitory town with so many people. And I'm so sure that there are people who would happily jump on a train from Kaswa to Accra and go back home.
Bernard,
you know,
you have said something. You see, I've always said that, look, given the opportunity, if it was possible that I would take a bullet train from Madafian straight to Accra within an hour. Charlie,
if you live at Sogakope and you are
Charlie, by that serene lake, eating fresh tilapia every single day.
Imagine where Rollins' house is.
This is what's it? Teple.
In Teple. The air quality is even better.
Charlie,
you know, you just sit on a train, get to Tema. So rail is so important, but I don't know. I'm told it's expensive. The investment is a lot. There isn't a lot of money. You also need a stable government that wants to do things. Because if you look at the countries that have done rail, Ethiopia, Nigeria, you need partnerships, you know, and our system is too, what's the word to use? I don't know. The vision is not there. There's too much interest, politics, short-term agenda. Everybody wants a cut, you know. And there are some investments that respect the sanctity of a good financial plan. You know, all these layers of things. You know, there are certain deals you can do in certain projects because, yes, but in rail, you need a proper long-term plan. And Ghana, we don't like long-term plan.
You know, this government could have done it. They could have done it. Look at all the money that they received in loans, in, what they call donor support. All these monies that have been, I mean, from the records of the Auditor General's report, a lot of money has gone through the hands of this government. But they've been wasted in so many different ways.
$2 million of feasibility studies.
So imagine if all of these things, at least we concentrate, the agenda is, look, we want to ensure that at least we came in and we have transformed the transportation sector.
But the rail
with rail.
The rail.
They are doing some work, but this is not enough.
So maybe what you can do for me is to check the progress on the key rail projects. The main one for me is the Tema to Mpakadan, major one. You can check that for me. Check the Takrady one. The Accra Tema one has been working, but I don't know how many sort of trains they have on it. The in Sawam Accra one has been notoriously bad. It's not been working. All right. But the Mpakadan one is what gives us hope. If they get that one right, that's progress. The other thing I've noticed, Nathan, is I know this is a tired topic and I don't want to repeat it, but there's a lot of, it's like I can't feel the city.
Accra.
Well, let me explain. I'm not even saying Accra, like, there's a certain vibrancy I don't get. Yesterday I was at Ministries. Drove through Adabraka, through Kokomilimle a lot of times. I don't know whether the city is moving away from here or whether it's an evidence of the economic downturn. But there's something just not right. I feel a certain, like, I'll give an example. A lot of shops were closed around 4 o'clock. Yeah, like, why should a shop be closed at 4 o'clock? Like, when you drive through Asylum down into Kokomilimle, you know, Dabraka, there's something missing in the city. What I can't place my finger on is whether people have moved to other parts of town. All right? So, for example, if you go from La Paz, maybe from Achimota overhead, Tesano to La Paz, maybe people have moved to Awoshi or something, or the Achimota area. Do you understand? But like, when I started working at Citi FM, Adabraka was a major place. Adabraka was a major place. Right now, a lot of empty shops. So what I'm not sure of is whether it's urban, like is the city changing, or is the lack of vibrancy a consequence of the economy downturn? I'll give you an example. In those times when you are driving to Trust Towers, those who know Accra very well.
Yeah, where they sell the botokwenu.
Charlie, Trust Towers is a traffic hub. There's a lot. Where has the folk head office? A lot. Charlie, this time when I go there, nothing is there. Like you can just go.
Yeah, but we're still buying our botokwenu.
Yeah, there was a queue for the buffaloes. Yes. But apart from that, everything else, even Cathedral traffic light, there was in 10 years ago. There's a lot of movement of vehicles. It's like Adabraka was the main place. I don't feel like 13 again. Adabraka is almost becoming like Kolegono.
But have you looked at Adabraka recently?
That's what I'm saying. Like, Kolegono, 10 years. Kolegono is a place where 50 years ago was part of Accra Central. Now people live there, a few shops. Most people work in different places. Adabraka is becoming old Accra, and it looks like Asana Down is also getting the same Memle as well. Even Caprice, they are all looking old and deserted. The shops are not open. So what I'm trying to figure out is it because the economy is down, or people are moving to say
other places?
Yeah, maybe like East Legon or Achimota, or I don't know. I don't know. Maybe you should help me. So like when you are coming from Sawam to Accra, do you feel the vibrancy on the Amasaman Road? Do you see the movement? Ghana is an informal economy. The market is strong. People are buying. Do you feel that on the Pokwasi interchange area?
Yeah, you see, so let me tell you a story. About 2015 thereabout, when I moved to that side of town, you would notice that a lot of middle and upper class people had moved to that side of town. So the estates around there became the playground for these big boys and emerging big boys and big women and all of that. But I've noticed that over time, either many have rented out their spaces.
Oh, even at your place?
Yeah, that's right.
Where are they going?
Or have sold them out. So a number of things are happening. There are families who have moved out of the country entirely.
So that's one.
That's one.
You mean they've left?
Yeah, that's right. People who are either lawyers, doctors, or
nurses.
Economists, nurses. The next time you hear of them, they are either in Canada, they are in Australia, or some are even in Kenya.
I'm even to Vietnam.
They have moved out of the country. Others have simply moved out of that side of town.
So where is the action in Accra now?
Okay, so
where are people moving?
These new and emerging, what do you call it? Nerve centers of
middle
Accra.
class. Where is that?
So you see areas in cantonments where people buy property, rich people are buying, and people sometimes even like the.
Are you sure? Cantonment? But cantonment, is there any new space there?
No, there.
Or when people get money, they move.
But this is the new action is around East Legon.
No, those are also part. You see the 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom. How do they even call them? Apartments. You have the convenience of being in Accra. Security is assured because of the space you are in. You have a pool to yourself, the community. You can move to a venue quickly and come back quickly. You don't have to go through the hustle. If you are going to my place, if you live here around 6 p.m., then I can guarantee.
So your point is that those who are middle class, who are making money, are moving from these outskirts back closer to the center.
Exactly.
And the center will be cantonments, Laboni, Airport, Jowlu, Ridge, part of Achimota, Chado, East Airport. Maybe, I don't know about Tema. Will this include, East Legon?
Yeah, East Legon, yes.
East Legon, yes. What about, so that's one argument. But my concern is about the emptying of Adabraka, Caprice, Asylum Down.
Bernard, Adabraka has lost its verve.
Why?
So first of all, I think there are a number of too many cases being fought in the courts over property.
Okay.
Family properties. People have moved out. and then the people who are now supposed to be the owners of the property are fighting with other owners of the property. So many of these old houses you see, people are fighting over them. So some are just
So you can't even develop them.
And then also people who would rather want to put money in, say, let's redevelop the place so that we can share something. Because of the litigation, people are staying off. In some other cases, it is just that the place doesn't look livable any longer. Because, Bernard, I mean, let's say, for instance, you live in a decent apartment, just outside Accra, and then you drive to Adabraka. Look at the quality of cleanliness here.
The gutters.
Gutters are smelly.
No trees.
No trees. People are throwing their number 2 and all kinds of things about anyhow. Someone wakes up in the morning and she's holding the, what do you call it? Adudozi. Shudo. And they come and just pour the thing, in the gutter like that. Bernard, you come in and you see someone. Look, the other day, in fact, when you use just our back here, the guy, Charlie, early morning, the man was
supposed to
forgive me this one.
I don't know the name in Ghana, but the thing that the children pee and do number 2 inside.
Yeah.
The chamber pot.
Yeah. And then you come and see a whole family. They have lined up along the road and they are brushing their teeth into the gutter like that on the road. But if you live in this space, you have an office in this space, how can you enjoy city life?
Let me develop this a bit further. So is it your contention that so you're saying 2 things. In a sense, Adabraka and the more southern parts of Accra, Ministries, Osu, and not, this is Osu Mami, maybe La, parts of La, and then Adabraka, get into Odoko and all those places. When people, business is moving away from there to new commercial hubs, all right? But on a residential front, so it's funny, so you're saying commercially, business is moving from the south further inside. But residentially, people who live in the outskirts, when they get money, they come closer to the rich center, which is cantonments, Laboni, Rage, Jowlu, Chado, East Airport, Bachimota, East Legon. But so if you have money and you live in Uyarifa and you work at, say, Airport City, you prefer to get an apartment at Jowlu. So the people who have money will move closer to where they work. But then the business is also moving away from this southern side and going closer towards the East Legon enclave, Jowlu enclave. That's your contention.
Yeah, that's right. Because
so what about those who live at the western part? So now let's divide Accra into 4. If you use the Achimota overhead, so in Sawam Accra Road, all right, when you get to the Achimota interchange, all the communities on your right can be considered west of Accra. So from Akweteman to La Paz, all the way to Awoshi to Kwashiman, that's the west. All right, in the middle is between that overhead and Shiashi. That's middle Accra. Then east will be from Shiashi to East Airport to Spintex to Tema. All right. Why does it appear that things are more expensive on the eastern side than on the western side? That's number 1. Number 2, there are more facilities. So let's take hospitals. If you take West Accra is from this Akweteman all the way. So N1 from Akweteman to, say, Kaswa.
Kaswa, yes.
And then N1 from Shiashi to Dowenya is East Accra. There are better facilities on the eastern side. More hospitals. Better schools. Accommodation is more expensive. The western part looks chaka. So you have your place. Your place.
Charlie, why?
What's the name of it? Well, your place.
Why?
Race course. Awushi. Soutum. Chantain. Santain. Alaji. Tabura. Charlie. Some cause those bawacious areas. It's like, no, we don't want. Look, I was talking to a friend about even a hospital. Apart from La Paz Clinic, there aren't a lot of major hospitals on that N1 stretch. But if you come to the eastern part, Leicester Hospital, if you go to even East Legon, plenty of hospitals. The Magenra Hospital, the Maritime Hospital, plenty of hospitals on the eastern side. Sinel, all of them are there. When you go to the western part, like if you have what is the major referral hospital on the western part of Accra? a proper, like if somebody has an emergency and the person lives at Ashalaja,
Ashalaja, you have to come to.
where would the person go for hospital?
That means I have to.
Amansama is not even a proper big hospital.
Oh yeah, but
So in the city itself, and I'm trying to use it to sort of discuss livability. The city is changing in a very weird way, and somehow, I feel like the western part of Accra is poorly planned. It's more prone to flooding. The roads are not straight. They don't have good amenities. That's the way I feel. The first time I visited Selo, in this La Paz house, this is like 15. The first time, 15, it was terrible. Yeah. He's left there, he's run away.
Yeah, now you were playing around those areas.
Nita, we drive, we something, we park the car, we walk.
Yeah. Some of those places, if you turn off the main,
there's a place they call Free Pipe.
Yeah, Free Pipe.
How can you have a place called Free Pipe?
Yeah, that's when
narrow, very narrow.
So people in Accra help me to get a sense. So why is it that the eastern part of Accra, from Shiashi all the way to Tema, has more resources, has better facilities than the western part? Number two, why is Adabraka dying? Kokomlemle. Again, there was a day I drove to, where did I go? I went to Dansoman. Dansoman is different. Dansoman is possibly the only...
An outlier.
Dansoman and McCarthy Hill may be the outliers. So maybe Dansoman, McCarthy Hill, and where's the name of that place? Yeah, Dansoman and McCarthy Hill may be like but they are more southern.
Yeah.
They are not. They are more southern.
They are more southern.
Yeah, Dansoman. But if you even from like places like, what do you call it, Banana Inn, Russia, then you come to Abose Okai. Like last week, I was going somewhere and then I had to go through Kaneshi to Russia. Charlie, Pasa. I said, this place I know will come again. Russia. Then you go all the way to Kolebusev. Then now you go to Momo, the Accra proper. Charlie, some way. So the city is changing, but I'm just trying to understand whether we even know how to renew a city, whether we know what to do to keep a city vibrant, whether our city planners understand these dynamics. And because I'm using this livability index, and Sky is right, a lot of people are living. People are going to Australia now. People are going to Canada. People are going to, and they're spending lots of money.
Yep.
To go to, and it's not even UK, US. Now they are looking for new places to live, So let me know, what do you feel about the city you live in? How happy are you about where you live? If you had chance, where will you move? If you had money, what's your ideal suburb? And what are the new places in Accra that we can go and explore? Those are the questions I have for you this morning. How livable is the city or community you live in? Is there a place you recommend that we move to? The new parts of Accra? I'm told State Housing is doing new buildings in some regions. I'm not sure I have the specific suburbs. It would be nice if they can send me the suburbs so we can know which parts of the capital are. The other thing we need to also say is that infrastructure changes develop. So I'll give you an example. In our enclave, so Adringano, East Legon Hills, now they've done the road from School Junction to Boteman. So in 5 years, that Olympic Village is going to change that whole area. Okay. There are roads in the Ashalaja area who have been shouting about their poor nature of roads for years. There's a particular community that we've done almost every year. There's a demonstration about roads. I forget the name of the place. It's Kalebunu.
Okay.
Those areas, the quality of roads is bad. So people don't even want to move there. So you can't even go and build an estate there for anybody to live in. Yeah, because the roads, so that the infrastructure also determines. It looks to me as if the government has favored the eastern, I think they favored the northeastern part of Accra. So if you break Accra into geographical areas, so northeastern zone will be that quadrant from Shiashi through to Adenta, Medina, East Legon, Tema. Like that northeastern pie. If Accra were a pizza, the northeastern pie has, I think, the best amenities.
Is it because the politicians tend to live in these areas? So, for instance, until the Mahama bypass, as we call it, was done to open up chain homes and related communities, a lot of people were dreading using that stretch. Although people had bought land in the area, many were slow in developing them. And then also property prices were not as high. But the moment a lot of politicians have moved in, they are buying left, right, and center. And you see that the place looks better compared to
I'm not sure it's just politics. It's also investment. Because, for example, when you go to that area you're talking about, they started Mayfair. When they built that Mayfair thing, it opened up the place, and then people started seeing the value. So it's also almost like first mover. When the first movers get the land and decide to use it for something substantial, which is beautiful, somehow there are effects on the other areas. So, but if you go to some places like maybe Sotum, where maybe people started buying the land in bits and started building it small.
Yeah.
So usually the the infrastructure will not go quickly because influential people are not there. So maybe people will start building their house one. Then later on the road will come. So I think you're right. Some of it is when the political decision as to where to put a road. So like Boteman now, I think you will see a lot of high quality houses in Boteman because the road opens up Tema, Ashaiman, Medina, Adenta. So if you are going to buy a plot of land in Boteman today, it will be more expensive than a plot of land in Kasua because of the road. So the political decision of where to send infrastructure, and then the first few people who go there. So if a big developer goes there to do one or two things, everybody then follows. So it's a natural. But I just feel like the northwestern part of Accra is now where the action is. That's where the action is. Better plan. I'm told that the northeastern, the northwestern part.
That would be
your place. They say your place. Nkrumah wanted to do Olympic something there. He wanted to use it for something. So it was not. I don't know. Why are you disowning the place?
I don't live there.
That's where when I knew you were living in.
I was at Soto.
Soto.
That's true.
So race course and all.
Yeah, that's like
those are, when every time I'm thinking about you when I'm in that area, I remember you. So
hold your gun.
That his Nathan is the mayor of those parts, and now Soto.
Some of those places.
No, correct people they those very correct people.
There are some places where Charlie.
Someday I was going to a place called VRA.
For where?
Soto VRA, Sky. We drive to La Paz when we got to Abranti Airport. Then the Google map, it says go straight over. And Google says go straight and after 500 meters turn right. But I've turned right like 10 times already. So like Google, what are you saying? It's like, so the road, it's supposed to be a straight road. You're just going. They said after 2 kilometers turn right. I said, but I've turned right like 10 times.
Yeah.
You go, then you pass Chanta, then you go Tabora, then you go Alaji, then you go.
Lack of planning.
Charlie. The anointing later has to leave them. I don't have it. That anointing I don't get. Let's talk about livability.
Bernard.
Livability. So you used to
this conversation.
So you've lived in
different places.
Okay, first thing,
yes.
Is my theory correct that if you divide Accra into 4, Western Accra is from Akweteman to the end.
La Paz, Akweteman.
Yes. Middle Accra is from that Achimota overhead to Shiashi.
Right.
So that portion of the N1 is Middle Accra.
Okay.
Then Eastern Accra is from Shiashi to Tema.
Okay.
Right? That's one. Then if you divide it north and south, south will be, again, maybe you can say, if you take Kanda. So the Kanda, so the road from, help me here, the road from Dimples.
Okay.
That drives you in front of Perez Dome. Takes you through the Kaukudi interchange to 37 to Bema Camp. It's like dividing south from north.
Okay.
So the middle of Accra will be that real estate in those areas.
Correct.
Then the northern part will be from Legon going.
Fantastic.
Good. Now, it seems to me as if, in fact, the people, and this is a bad example, the maids who stole the money, where did they build their houses?
The maids.
It's like the past maids. No?
Oh, this is a bit. Oh no, this is
no. So one built a house at Amrahia.
Amrahia is in the northeastern part.
Yes, and then there's Buduburam somewhere also.
That's a 30-year-old.
No, Bernard, you're right. You see, we learned this in school, the central location theory. Okay. The closer you are to the center of town, the more costly it is. The further away you are from the center of town, the cheaper it is, but the more expensive it will be on you, because in terms of convenience in commuting, you will pay the price because you have less access to utilities like good roads, like internet, access to water, Even refuse, for example. So if I'm renting a place, I'm thinking about 3 C's. I'm thinking about convenience, cost, and comfort.
Let's take it one more time.
Convenience.
So ease of movement.
Yes, very important.
What's the second one?
Comfort.
Okay.
In terms of just how green the place is, what's the quality of the
house.
people you are living in, the quality of the facility itself.
You don't want neighbors who hold shamo. They say they say that is called
Shamono or Shamo.
But there are some places you live, you wake up and somebody's burning toilet paper and is entering your room. You understand? Or some welder is doing early in the morning when you're sleeping.
Somebody's doing gate.
You understand? Or you wake up and some sisters are leaning on your car because there's no car park. You have to park the car outside and they are doing their business at night. Okay,
Yes,
so comfort is also very important in that respect. You also want a place that is green relatively, is more airy, the quality of air there is better than some other places. Then you're looking at cost. So cost is the most important deciding factor.
Where is if you are a young journalist?
Yeah.
Where is your ideal place? If somebody says, Caleb, I want to rent a place for you, I want to give you a 2-bedroom house, where would you want to stay?
I would just cantonment or Ridge or Kudah.
So cantonment,
yes, Ridge.
Yeah. You want to be close to town.
Yeah, it helps. It helps with your
Cantonment,
mobility and
Ridge,
everything.
and
Yeah,
Accra.
those sort of places. So for example, I've lived at a place called Maijo before, Zoom Lion area. At the time, the road was not done at all. So before you walk from home to Zoom Lion to Picture to the school junction, that's a long one. And when it rains, you are walking through patches of mud and it's terrible. By the time you get to school junction, the trotro is full, you get to Circle, you are already tired. You're at work and you're angry. You've forgotten why. It's just because of your commute. Now the road has been done. But what that also means is that more developers are moving into that area.
Houses are getting more
So
expensive.
it will get more expensive. It won't be as cheap as it used to be.
So it's almost like when you solve one problem, create another one.
Exactly.
Another one, yeah.
So, for example, when I went to Nsaom to talk to the people, some of them told me that you can get a 2-bedroom house for 500, 600 cedis. That's good.
A month.
That's cool, yes. You can pay 2 years advance and you don't have a problem. But if you're going to be in traffic from Nsaom to Accra every day,
So even though you are paying 500 cedis, you are spending
it's
more
not
money.
worth it.
So your quality of life is low.
productivity
Which
is
is
less.
why we are saying if you did the rail.
Yes.
So living in Sawam, you can still work in Accra.
Fantastic.
But you have a rail that you jump
And
on.
Bernard, Nsaom is so green, you should be there. Like, it's greener, it's cooler, it's not as warm as this side of town. So
So
it
you
also means
probably-
you'll not be spending so much on utility like AC and all
But
those
there aren't
things.
a lot of job opportunities in
Yes.
Sawam. So you have to come to
Yes.
Accra.
Because the railway system is down. I don't know about the bread thing.
Have
but
you
a lot of
lived,
people are not.
in the Temadowenya enclave before?
No, I've actually lived in a Shaiman before.
How is the place?
Zenu, at the time when I was there was no lights, there was no electricity,
Hey,
there was no water. There's like 2000 and maybe 12, 10.
So at Zenu was
Zenu was
far.
Yes, now they have electricity, but their roads are bad. You know, there are no drains. When it rains, it's a problem. Driving even from Ashaiman to Zenu, the main road itself, it's hectic.
So you won't take Zenu.
No.
What about would you take a place in Kasua?
Bernard, Kaswa is a challenge.
Yungo.
Kaswa is a big challenge. That road I'm at somewhere after Wager, closer to Malam. Okay. If you're moving between 5 and 5:30, if you don't move early, when the Kaswa people join the thing,
Once they open the floodgate
I'm telling
for the
you.
Kasua people to join, it changes the
It
equation.
changes the, especially when it rains like it did this morning, and plus the Buzia Highway too has a lot of potholes.
So when we talk about Kasua includes everything from Botiano
Yes,
all the way to even Gomafete.
yes. You pass.
So
Bujumbura
even
and
where
then
the
you're going
Pentecost
further. Fantastic.
program is happening, we consider it Kasua.
Yes.
So people are living in Bujumbura and working in Accra.
And
So
people live even off the main roads,
quite far.
inside.
Yeah. And then your place.
They are pointing to my place. Is that where I currently am, or where
Where
I
you
used to be at Soto?
Have you tried to look for accommodation around Alaji, Tabora, La Paz?
Bernard,
Chantai,
Alaji, Tabora. No,
Fan Milk.
I've lived around Chantai. I've lived
How can you
around.
call a place family?
So there's a place called 6 to 6 around Chantai. That you're doing race course. You're going those places. You know. No, access to water was a problem in 6 to 6.
Why are the roads not straight?
I don't know.
It's like,
And the buildings are just coming.
Buildings are just coming up.
how did they build the place? Was there no plan? It's almost like I've never driven on a proper straight road in that area.
Oh, but
There's even a hotel in that area called Ntuntum Hotel. You understand? I'm not kidding.
Which side is this?
Oh, this is around 6 to 6. That enclave. It's you don't get proper water. It doesn't come on time.
So
it doesn't flow.
The point is that when the main amenity goes there, like a road, the value of property goes up, and then the poor are pushed out.
Exactly.
So the poor are always suffering.
Pushed further away from the center.
They will be in a place with fewer amenities. When amenity comes and property goes up, they can't afford it anymore.
So when I take Otinibi, for example, take Damfa, for example, that enclave, a lot of affluent people are moving there, and they are complaining about the roads, but they are building there. They are demanding the roads. If the roads get there on time, a lot more many more real estate owners will move there. And that will also push the, lower class in the Otinibi enclave further away.
You're giving me an idea. So it means that public transportation and rail should be seen as a pro-poor investment and not as some luxury. Because you just spoke about the further you are from Accra or from the center, the cheaper it is to get a house. But the more difficult it is to get transportation to town.
Yep.
So a pro-point, so if you did a rail or a tram or a public bus from Kaswa, Budumburam, Gomuafete or whatever to town, and you price the charge at a very low price, you are helping poor people. Yeah. So I don't know if in the government, Ministry of Railway and Transport, when they do these projects, they see it from a pro-poor intervention perspective, because once the people live farther and they spend more money on transportation, then you are really making them poorer. Anyway, we'll pause that. I want to just hear some comments on the discussion about housing. So Nathan, please help me this morning.
Okay, this one says, which part of Dansoman are you talking about? Dansoman is not an outlier. I live at Ayi Mensa and I'm fine.
No, what I was saying was that Dansoman and McCarthy Hill appear to be the more...
They know spoil and
yeah, they know. Yeah, yes, that's what I was trying to say. They know they are not sport yet. That's what I was saying, Nathan.
Okay, this one says, what Sky is saying is true.
God bless his name within a cornucopia of social vices.
Oh God!
Left, right, and center. Ndushime, Emyame, Ngogbe, all of them.
Everywhere scatter.
So I'm not sure about this.
No, I was in Dansoman last Saturday. It wasn't that bad.
It depends on where you are.
When Godfrey comes tomorrow, you can ask him. So,
okay, all right. This one says, what Sky is saying is true. It happened just yesterday in front of my shop. I saw one woman holding the pot pass by and go and throw something away. And later greeted me. Fred, who's in Accra, they said that. Jonathan in Gan West says, okay, chamber pot is called Shamono.
Shamono.
This one says, most livable city according to whose standard of living. Accra may have its problems, but it's peaceful and we are sociable. That's priceless for some of us.
It's true.
And many foreigners
they love Accra.
Never trade it for nothing.
I don't have access to the full reports. I don't even know where Accra is ranked. It's just a point of discussion. Right. We are not making it a law. Okay. So don't get too worked up.
Yeah, anyway. This one says, don't forget Boku if you are looking for the most unlivable cities in the world. I mean, people are living there, so why are you saying that? Michael from Tabora says, Adabraka used to house top pubs and clubs. It was the hottest zone even at night. Now the focus has shifted to East Legon, Cantonments, Jowlu, Laboni, Sky. The new hot zone is Chado.
There's an interesting message I got from a colleague. It says, Bernard, that thing that people say that no matter how far it is, the house is yours, is a bloody lie. It's better to spend money and be in a flat near town so you don't drive 10 kilometers or more on a bad road. There are also newer hubs where people live in suburbs, like in Ashoma where I live. The road is full of joints and shop places by the roadside. The stretch is very busy now. Now in Ashoman, we have Pizza Hut, Pizza Inn, Chicken Man, KFC. Yeah. We don't need to come to Accra again.
When I think about the Dodowa stretch,
yes,
there's always a lot of traffic when you're coming from Dodowa towards Medina, Denta, and all of that. Now, if you look at the road that connects from that stretch all the way to Ayi Mensa, traffic could be diverted if you're going to Koforidia from Dodowa, the eastern region of Accra. You don't need to join the main Accra, Medina, that kind of highway. Okay. But that road is also bad. But if you look at the number of people who are moving to that side,
it's a lot.
A lot, because it's greener.
It's greener.
People love it. They're building their own homes there.
More comments. Bernard, Teshi Nungwa and Chado is the real deal. Everything in fair balance. That's coming from Emmanuel.
And this one too.
But there's one for you, Nathan. Caleb, he says, Bernard, Caleb is seeing the West in Sawamo. In Sawamo was the place to live some 30 years ago.
Well,
you could reach Accra and Kumasi using train.
Yeah.
The whole of Insawam is now a market.
Yeah.
Bernard, let me read this one that says that Chado developed because of its strategic location in Accra. I started living there in 2003. I had to develop a proposal through ECG to get light there in 2006. Sometimes the people who settle first take the pain to develop the area. I won't mention the name of the person.
All right,
Okay,
let's
all right.
more comments.
This one says people are moving out of the outskirts due to traffic. It takes me 2.5 hours from Oyibi to Accra. I'm considering moving closer to town. Meanwhile, I have my own place. The fuel alone, they kill me.
Exactly.
I see.
Exactly.
This one says the shops in these places are general traders who sell things which today have been taken over by the emerging shops like China Mall and Palace Mall. The city has moved. Says see the emergence of Spintex.
So the city has moved.
This one says people are moving to Lakeside and Butchie.
That's true.
All right. This one says, I think the issue with the city, especially around Adabraka and Asylum down Kokomlemle, is as a result of flooding. All right.
Yeah.
This one says the places in Adabraka and Asylum down are now used as mini guest houses and brothels for people from neighboring countries. I see. This one says most vendors who own shops have relocated to Kaswa, Pokwase, and many far places. And so by 3 p.m., most of them start parking out so they can get home early. Don't forget, they are family people, especially the women.
The shops closed early, pa. I was surprised yesterday that
All right.
a lot of the shops were closed.
Okay. Somebody has a very different issue. Says, I live at Kwabinya. Can you please bring the attention of the leadership that Trotsky drivers are silently killing those of us at Kwabinya in the mornings?
Why?
A journey from Kwabinya to Makola, which ordinarily costs 7 CD 50 pesos, now costs over 15 CDs due to the inconsiderate attitude of these drivers. They intentionally charge based on intermittent stops. So he breaks down the stops. Kwabinya to Dome, 4 CDs. Dome to Achimota, 4 CDs. Achimota to Circle, 4 CDs. Circle to Accra, 3 CD 50p.
Incremental charges.
You know what? Why they do that? So instead of going straight.
They won't go straight.
They'll tell you that I'm just going to Kwabenya.
So that when you get down there, you have to pay.
So, you know, the Ghanaian trying to be creative and to take something more from you.
Right. That's Ade from Kwabinya Oscar. He's not happy at all.
Yeah, Bernard, forgive me. Let me read this one. It's a long one. And it says that Bernard and Richard, greetings. I commend your hard work to bring about positive change in Ghana. It seems that we should consider more frequent actions rather than waiting for monthly updates. Weekly initiatives might be more effective. Our leaders must recognize that serving the society is their responsibility, not a favor. Their role is to ensure progress and better the lives of everyone, including the poor. If they find these responsibilities too demanding, they should step aside willingly. Leadership is not a dynasty, and it should not be forced upon anyone. We cannot afford to waste 8 years only to move backward. Immediate action is required to put an end to this trend. Providing essential services like water, electricity, roads, and public transport should be a priority. The private sector and businesses should be given the enabling conditions to create jobs for the people. The excessive number of government officials seeking personal gains is detrimental to the state's survival. Government should focus on building homes for the people, just like J.J. Rawlings did in the past. Proper infrastructure like roads, drains, schools, hospitals, etc. should accompany these developments. Looking at Asian countries like Thailand, the Philippines, Indonesia, and the rest, they are proactive in pursuing progress and development. We should take inspiration from them. Our leaders and politicians do not take this decisive action. If they do not, we might face dire consequences.
Here's another one from Millicent. She says, Bernard, I stay at Kwashiman. You should see the road to my house. And you know the sad part is that it has been one government MP for like God knows when.
Oh, yeah.
You should see where I pass to my house. When I'm going home to work, I use like 10 minutes to get to the main N1 road. Because of the nature of the road, I can't even send Google location to friends to visit. They will say, hey, your area there, we won't come.
Never.
Charlie, it's actually a sad thing. Then a few more comments on the matter.
Some of the roads are somewhere. Okay, should I read them or you have some?
Yes, I'm just reading a few more just to give background.
You know Sape, man?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. You go deep inside. There are some communities there better. If you like God has forsaken them.
Let me read a few comments on this. Development is not controlled by our planners. Investment and business development is based on attention and not data or numbers. Both West and East has numbers, but the bigger numbers are in the West, but the attraction is to the East, and that's how we have developed. So he's talking about the West and East of Accra. 3, our data is hardly in format that can be attractive to people without research and data backgrounds, coupled with the majority of Ghanaians being phobia to maths and statistics. So people don't want to use data to do anything. The not too long elite in the typical southern parts actually left that area to invest in other attractive areas during their time and didn't help develop their own areas. I don't know what this is in relation to this third point, but the fourth point, planners have no control on how Ghana planning is driven. It is purely based on people with resources and business ideas. Once an area becomes popular, everything starts moving there. We just follow. So it's basically saying we are living a planless life.
Planless.
I don't know how true this is because Kekeli sent me the map of Accra and the development plan. Let me just see. So I think that message contradicts what I just read. It says this is the structural plan from the 1991 strategic plan for Accra. All the issues you are discussing were thought of and planned as far back as 30 years ago. Rail, housing, and all livability issues were part of this plan. So my question to Kekeli is how come they are not using it? So Sky, you should see the map. It even shows you demarcated areas for, you see?
Wow.
So they've planned the thing, but...
Yeah.
The real line.
I'm telling you the last time that we have the plan. It's just that...
but I told that if you have something that's on paper that you don't have implementation, it's not a plan.
Bernard, because people are building on roads if you go to areas like Ayimensa.
Ayimensa?
Down the hill, places that are being designated as should be for roads, people are building there. And these are people some of whom are lawmakers who should know better. They're just building.
Community 25 is the new deal. I live there, even though the road is under construction. The serene environment brings joy. So we are looking for places. In the meanwhile, I'm told State Housing is building homes in Amrahia, Adenta, that's in Accra, and then in Ho, there's a place called Maoli Court.
Maoli Court.
Apparently. You've not gone to Ho in a long time, so you don't know.
Yeah.
Rock Estates in Bogatanga is a state housing project, and they've also done something in Kumasi called John Ajekunku 4 Estates.
Yeah.
All by state housing. Meanwhile, somebody says the eastern part of Accra has bigger roads as compared to the west. The old Accra has smaller roads. There are some provisions and products you can buy in Eastern and not find in the West. Eastern has coffee and salad bars. Western doesn't. Is it true?
Which one?
He said Eastern Accra has coffee and salad bars. Western Accra doesn't have coffee.
Oh, Western Accra. But don't West Hills.
No, please, is there a salad bar at La Paz?
They don't have salad bars. They just have the wayside.
No, La Paz.
No, I'm talking about the so from La Paz.
Tesano is
Awoshi, Kwashima. No, Tesano is in middle Accra.
It's in the middle. Okay.
La Paz,
Okay.
Awoshi, Kwashiman, Soutuo, Alaji, Racecourse, Santai, Chantai, Fun Mill.
Avle Kuma.
Please, do you have coffee and salad bar?
They don't have coffee.
No, I'm sure they will have some KFC or...
Some places have...
They will have some things around there. And should compensate.
Okay, so
KFC is not evidence of positive development.
I mean, for many people...
No, they say coffee and salad bar.
No,
healthy living.
I think they'll get that one.
Sushi joint.
There are no coffee and salad bars.
No, you can't say that.
Don't you people like coffee? Don't you like salad?
I'm sure they do. I'm sure people consume them.
Don't say we.
I mean, I don't take coffee, so...
But do you like salad?
Salanda.
Not as much.
It's not fun.
So why aren't there coffee and salad bars in that part?
That's what I'm saying. You see, I mean, in La Paz...
It's the demand.
It's the demand thing.
But I believe there are...
We are looking for Kokli Jogba and Kong.
Nobody will... Who in La Paz...
Read one comment.
I was just saying, your average person in La Paz will not go to a coffee bar. They'll probably buy 3 in 1 and do their own thing.
We do. All right,
Noodles and
So
chibo.
you see, I can speak for the airport there because I used to live there. So I know that
nice.
thing.
No
Yeah,
problem.
I mean,
I've been there too.
Odoko official town.
Yes.
You just go to Ablochi spot.
I will.
When you go to Ablochi spot, Charlie, you have a vast array
Yes.
of proper meal.
Yes.
You have, face the wall with a benkwine, properly authentic.
Fufu,
there's
banku,
there's
don't like
and
all of that.
abobitaji.
Oh.
If you have
Kenke sellers are there.
What is coffee doing here?
What is coffee doing?
The salad bar. No, we don't like that. We are going to Abasi. Better you know Abasi.
Last Palmas.
No.
Last Palmas.
Opulo sumwangbe, ado sumwakwado, opulo sumwangwanu.
We'll read a few of your comments and then turn our attention to legal issues.
Yeah. Anyway, this one says Accra is expanding all the way to Dodowa, Kaswa, Pokwasi, etc. So the center will definitely change as more people are living or more people live far away. That's scatter from Koforidua Center. This one, Adabraka is charging high dollar prices for the houses. The amount of renovation you need, it doesn't make sense to live in Adabraka. This one says, Bernard, it's because modern estate companies started from these areas. Trasaco, Reggie Manuel, etc. These attracted the middle and upper class in society. Remember, these guys are the movers and shakers of political and economic dimensions. The western side is made up of individuals building their own houses, and this is mostly unregulated. Okay, but livable city is according to whose standard? Kwame Eje Asante. It looks like he's still very uptight on this livable
I
city.
can guarantee you that all the people who live in these other areas, if you give them a home at Trasaco, they will move with alacrity. If you give them a home at, Ridge, they will move with speed. So people like good things. All of us like good things. So
Like salad bar.
I take coffee. But salad, I don't trust salad.
You do it on your own.
Even if it has to be done on my own, I have to buy the leaves from outside Accra.
I'll go.
Because the leaves...
Because of your journalism work.
That's right. Because
you for
that's
life.
right.
You did the stories on the...
That's right. On how they produce the salad leaves.
It wasn't good.
No.
All right, this one says, I will choose Tema any day. In Tema, there are alternatives if you want to go to any location. The roads are good, they don't get flooded, and you almost get everything you need. The serenity is just the best, mainly because of the people living there, and he says they are civilized, borrowing his words. I don't understand that. Anyway, Abednego in Ashaiman.
Abednego should tell us about the central sewage system in Tema too. It would be good to know.
You. All right, Edmond Amakwe Foley from Banjo says, in response to your urban development question, my theory is that the East has more accessibility. Tema Motorway, Accra Brewery Road, etc. You also have major facilities like the airport, University of Ghana, Tema Township and Port and all. The West had only the Kaswa Accra Road and more vicious land disputes. I lived in Sakumono, and I appreciate the accessibility I enjoy to Accra city centre via the Nungwa Road, Spintex, or even the motorway. Okay. Come to Banjul and see a similar development pattern. Okay, all right. I have a house at Kuntunsi. 10 years ago, that side of Accra was looking like it would develop into a good middle-class area. But bad roads and a lack of social amenities have caused a lot of people to move out. Now I'm renting a place in Achimota. Easy access to good schools and malls, pharmacies, etc. I also plan to move out of Ghana to preferably Canada or the USA.
You're on point. You're on point there.
Bernard, the situation is exacerbated by the presence of too many containers these days. A place that was developing nicely within a space of a few years. Kiosks, roadside containers, tabletops, all kinds of things have lined. Now you ask yourself, Clement Wilkinson, I don't know who is giving the permit to these people to do these things. When you... He's my friend, but, it is an eyesore. You get out of your house, in a happy mood because, you have slept well and you you just want to drive to work. And the thing you see along the road, Pasa be like that. I don't know why. Why is this happening?
Sing a song. Why, oh, why?
Okay.
Yeah, so a couple of interesting comments on the discussion on Accra and the changing dynamics of urban spaces.
Come on. I see
Somebody says, Bernard, High Street is dying slowly. Then it goes on to say, all the big banks are leaving. Stanchas has left, Barclays is leaving, Shell left, Cadbury is no more, BOG will soon leave. High Street is dying a slow death. Well, Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Park is there, so at least we'll go there for the tourism. And then another one on the discussion around. It says, Bernard, you are describing the shifting center concept, which can either be market-led, which is autonomous, organic, and often chaotic, or planned. The latter, which is the planned one, leads to urban regeneration of older neighborhoods, specialized functional locations, and effective public transit systems. Private investors tend to seek out lower infrastructure costs. That is the free ride on what the public sector has invested in. So what we are seeing in Accra is a chaotic, autonomous, and organic center shifting or shifting center phenomenon. Charlie, people know book pound. Somebody says Spintex, crazy rent. But your observations are right. I drove through Rich to Adabraka, Asylum down. Place was quiet and I was surprised. I think the services and shops have moved closer to the residential areas like Spintex, Community 25, etc., etc.
But is it also possible that COVID killed a lot of business?
And they didn't recover.
Yes,
yeah.
that's
and
that's
other
also
things.
true.
COVID and other things.
Yeah, and then money, the one they do, the haircut.
Yeah, COVID and other things brought.
Yes.
Yeah, COVID and other things.
Some businesses did not come back.
They're gone.
Yeah.
Those who did.
There's an interesting comment here. It says North Canadian is quite cool though on the western side. Okay. How is North K? The North K.
I think it depends on the side of
so
North
see,
K.
Tessano, North K, even Swan Lake, Ogle Road is not that bad.
Yeah,
but those areas
it depends on the side of North
Tessano.
K. If you, let's say, the main road, so that place is quite buzzing.
Yes, North K is not bad.
The former PlayStation Center is that stretch, but inside you have very quiet places.
North Canadian is not bad, actually. You're right. North Canadian is not bad. It's not bad.
All right, this one says there's too much unemployment, Mr. Sky. That's why you see so many containers around. Everyone is trying to survive. The government should create jobs.
This is in reference to your comment about the kioscification of of your place. That area that you used to live, that people have now moved. You mean? But apparently the promise of Kuntunse also did not work because of infrastructure. Yeah. The road. I think that crack in Sawam Road needs to be fixed.
Yes, they say they are working on it, but
because now that they've done the Pokwasi interchange, the Accra Kumasi Road needs fixing.
Try that maybe this weekend. See how the road is terrible.
I won't try it. I won't go anywhere. I'll go home. I won't go.
This one says the development is at Ashaiman Afinya Kosombo Road. Mm-hmm. Many people are moving there, but not a lot of businesses are there.
The road is not good.
There's no bank on that stretch from Ashaiman roundabout to Akosombo.
Oh, really?
People commute to the hectic traffic to town, Ashaiman, Tema, Accra for business.
But that's an interesting point. So you're talking about Community 22, Gulf City, Michelle Camp, Afienya area. Yeah, it's a big, but it's the road.
Yeah.
That's where the rail also passes. If they need to dualize, the Tema motorway, the Tema interchange, they are doing phase 2. If they do that phase, they will expand the road to, there's an Ashama roundabout that they will do, and then it goes all the way. If they finish that road, Charlie, action will pay for the giddy.
All the banks are at Laboni these days.
Oh, they are in East Legon too. And they're in Community 25.
Oh.
So they need more banks on that stretch.
Okay.
Yeah.
This one says
Reverend Andrew Nelson, Awintia, good morning.
Or they even don't get money.
Charlie, Awintia, that's his area. Reverend Andrew Nelson, Awintia. Bethel Assemblies of God Church.
Converting people for Christ.
Sometimes you can send me a picture of the rest of Bernard. We need help. talk for us. So Apostle Bernard, talk for us the road. Also, we'll do all night. We'll pray. The road Charlie will fire.
This one says,
Kabe.
this one says, Afienya Dodowa stretch is developing very fast. Lots of beautiful modern houses. Unfortunately, the traffic situation on the Michelle Camp Road is killing us. One leaves home at 6 a.m., gets to the office at 9:30. I know people who have built houses, but have abandoned them and rather rent houses in town. Jennifer and Afienya. This one says, I live at Kaswa, Amanfro in Sonano.
That's what we are talking about.
From Isonano to Amanfro is less than 15 minutes.
In Sonano to Amanfro.
But because of the bad road, it takes an hour. The road is very bad. We visit fitting shops basically every week. When it rains, you can't even use your 4x4 to ply the road. It says, and this place is South. Armstrong from Kaswa.
No. That should actually, that should be by the lake, right?
That's what he's saying.
It means that it should be a really beautiful
Sky,
place.
talking about bumpy roads, and you and I know that road of when you are going to the Abokobi side. Charlie, if you
the road will make you dance gorgeous.
Off the high, if you turn, Charlie.
Somebody is saying that this thing we said about Western Accra not having coffee and salad bar is not true.
Okay, so
He's even giving us one.
So there's a salad bar from La Paz Market to Racecourse called Juke Salad.
Sky, see they disgrace you.
Oh no, I said that they had. Nathan said they didn't. I said they had.
I said you have Wayside
Juke salad.
Yes.
From La Paz Market to Racecourse.
Yeah. This one.
Why would you go put the salad bar there?
Think about it. This one says, I live in Kaswa. In a self-contained paying 200 cedis a month. Because of the wahala of traffic or transportation, I moved to East Legon. Well, I can't afford East Legon rent. So I got a kiosk, which I'm paying 90 cedis a month. And I'm free from the crazy traffic. Less transportation, no noise, neat area, decent and respectable people, etc.
You live in a kiosk.
Is that Joulu?
Welcome to the club.
Bro, you live in a kiosk
you
at
get
East Legon for 90 cedis.
Oh yeah. Welcome to the club.
So they charge rent for the kiosk.
Oh yeah, that's right. People have built the kiosks and they are charging for it. And their land self doesn't belong to them. That's the bad aspect of it.
They are collecting 90 cedis to people.
Yeah, that's right.
All right.
They're keeping the land for other people.
Okay, this one says, talk about the Michelle Road camp through Afienya, Bechili towards Shire Hills. Says, we beg you. I've parked my car and I now use a motorbike. Please
There's a comment here. The bank issue is not entirely true. This is in relation to committee. It says there's a Bank of Africa at Tulaku near the Ashaiman roundabout, and there's ADB also just around the timber market. Yeah. There's even a state office opposite the timber market.
I see. Let me say good morning to all the people of Abrantia Sports.
Abrantia. I know that. Abrantia Sports.
But the people, the night crawlers have
taken over.
Sorry. Okay, come to Mataeko in the Ningo Prampram district. That's the new place to reside now.
Yeah, there's a new Mataeko at Ningo Prampram area, not the Mataeko you know.
And the land there too is expensive.
Bernard, it's good your colleague mentions Zenu.
Zenu.
I don't know why he's saying this.
Yeah, he says, I live at Peace Land around Atadeka, right from Lebanon to my place. Apart from the main road from Ashaiman to Katamanso, all the roads are bad. To make matters worse, no drainage system.
And Katamanso and Atadeka has developed there. About 8 years ago, I went there with a friend. It was just bush. Right now, Charlie. After they did that road from Nanakrom through Atadeka to Ashaiman area, Charlie.
For you to know places.
Yeah, bro.
What they take you to? Is it evangelism or what?
I used to sell in Medina, so I also know some corners. Yeah,
yes, ice cream.
When you in Kumasi, where were you staying?
Fantastic.
I see.
Fantastic.
And then when you came to Accra, where did you stay first?
First was around UPS.
UPSC.
Ayele. And then I moved to Obujo, so close.
One day I'll come and interview you to explain Kumasi to me, because I know you know Kumasi well.
Of course,
like
I lived 8 years in Kumasi.
I did a show where I was comparing Accra to Kumasi. So like the La Paz of Accra, I hear they say Kumasi, their La Paz is called Atomsu. They say Kumasi. No? What we say we have in Accra called La Paz, the version is called Atomsu. Is it true?
But I'll choose Kumasi any day over Accra. Yes, please.
No.
That's
with all the chaos in Kumasi.
That's where she grew up.
Yes. Most of my adult life was in Kumasi.
But the Kumasi part I like is in Shayesu.
Inside.
Yeah, that place is Posh.
The
rich.
bougie air.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
You will be the traffic police there forever.
No, that's not true. Accra traffic is worse.
This guy doesn't know Kumasi. We have to meet, get him go and greet to
Yes, please.